NLE Choppa just dropped a diss track towards NBA YoungBoy, but instead of dissing YoungBoy, he just proves why he's one of the most hypocritical rappers of all time. If you guys don't know the history between YoungBoy and NLE, NLE we used to be a big fan of NBA YoungBoy. He made a song called Free YoungBoy, but things kind of derailed when NLE decided to work with NBA YoungBoy's aunt. And after that, it was just kind of seemed like it's something that was never going to be repaired, even though they didn't really have any like back and forth, they didn't work together. So it just kind of felt like, okay, these are people we're probably never going to see a collab from. Not that probably the public didn't want it, but it was just kind of like, okay, whatever, right? And YoungBoy never really addressed it publicly. He did do a song during his Colors album that, might allude to NLE Choppa, but nothing too serious, and this was in 2022, so it's been a while. So recently, NLE Choppa decides to drop a diss track titled KO towards NBA YoungBoy, and everybody was just kind of like shocked. Nobody saw this coming. It was like, okay, what's your grievance with YoungBoy? Like, he's on top of the world. Why now all of a sudden? And I think it's because of the success that YoungBoy is having right now with the Is She Gonna Call Me Baby Boo song, him touring, his tours being, in the social media and public, and how big it's grossing and all this kind of stuff. NLE Choppa says, this is my time to garner some clout, some publicity. I don't want to say he's a cloud chaser, but NLE has a history of doing songs and doing these kind of things that are meant to just kind of grow his independent music career, which I think he's a great marketer, but it's just not great art, I guess you could say. Like, he doesn't put enough effort into his art and music for me to like deal with all the gimmicks and all this stuff, right? So the music video, I will start with a little bit of positivity about this diss track. Music video is fire. It's inspired by Hit 'Em Up, the Tupac diss towards Biggie and P. Diddy and all that bad boy stuff. Fire music video. The choreography is really done. It's really well shot, the execution. The only thing I was like, didn't understand about the music video is that why is Michael Jackson being influenced? Like, why is NLE doing like Michael Jackson moonwalks and all this kind of stuff? It's just kind of like, I don't get it. Like, I could get it maybe if it was Smooth Criminal, like he had a white tux, he was doing the lean and all this kind of stuff. But no, it's just a regular black suit and white shirt kind of thing. So it's just like, oh, I don't get it. Smooth Criminal would have maybe alluded to him being a smooth criminal and, doing what he needs to do to YoungBoy, what he feels like he should do. But let's get into the music finally. The music is just hypocritical. Like, it doesn't make sense. I get the message, and I do agree with the message that YoungBoy is pushing a negative lifestyle out there, especially to the youth, and it's up to the youth to really acknowledge this and say like, okay, that's not the lifestyle I like, but I can enjoy it as entertainment, which many of the youth don't, because they're young, they don't really know better at that point. And NLE Choppa is just saying the right message, just wrong messenger in my opinion. Like, back in the day, NLE Choppa was a YoungBoy disciple. He was a living embodiment of somebody who listens to this type of music and now kind of adopted into their own lifestyle. Whether or not he's really a gangster or really he beats women or all these other things that he's saying that YoungBoy is pushing is a different story, and I don't really care to get into the logistics of somebody's lifestyle and whether or not they're living to the means of whatever they preach and stuff. But I will say it's just kind of like, we've seen your gimmicks, we've seen the things you're willing to do to push your music and the things you're willing to joke about and things like this. Like, he even did a song with the OnlyFans creator, I don't remember her name, but like there was a song he did with her and it was just kind of like the slut me out kind of like style of music, and it was just like, wait a minute, you're not okay with YoungBoy pushing this kind of gangster lifestyle, but you're okay with popularizing like OnlyFans stuff? Like, can you make sense of the two? And this is ultimately where the real problem comes with NLE Choppa, is that he kind of reminds me of Kevin Gates in the way of like, when you get a lot of success really quickly, you start to think that I don't want to say you're a god in a sense, but like you start to think that you can do no wrong. So NLE Choppa will move on to the next thing, he'll get a little success, and he'll like, okay, this is working, let me get into this and that. And now he's on this wave of this spirituality, chakra balanced, living a vegan lifestyle kind of mentality. And you start to wonder, like, okay, NLE Choppa, like, what do you really stand for? Like, why are you why are you all spiritual now? Like, you're not somebody we're gonna see as a spiritual leader just because you've made it successful in rap. And you see this kind of not backlash. You could see the consequences of somebody thinking that they could do no wrong when it happens when they get confronted with somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. Recently, he was doing a discussion podcast kind of thing with Jonathan Majors and other people, and Jonathan Majors checked him on his talk of the Bible because NLE Choppa thought he knew about all spirituality, religion, conspiracy kind of talk about this kind of stuff.
In Christianity, it's a thing where people praise the Son more than they praise the Father. And that's what I don't like.
Okay.
Because if we are man made in a likeness, Jesus is our brother. You get what I'm saying? Why would I drop down and praise my brother instead of praising my father? And that goes back to honoring your parents.
I just gotta say something.
What?
Have you read the Bible?
I read the Bible, I listen to the Bible, I receive from source straight.
I would say read it again.
Sir.
Let me ask you a question, Ray J.
As soon as you could see that confrontation, it was just like, oh, NLE Choppa is just spouting whatever YouTube bullshit he heard, or whatever spiritual guru kind of like somebody who doesn't have any like credentials into this kind of career and into this field, and he just spouting whatever he heard, and he's like seeing himself like a cult leader in a sense. He's a cult leader without a cult. You know how like cult leaders talk about themselves, like I am the Jesus' third coming, and I'm here to lead you to reverence and heaven and all this kind of stuff. Like NLE is kind of like one of those people who's like, I've been awakened and now it's my job to awaken y'all. And it's just like, bruh, nobody thinks that about you. Like, you need to check yourself, come back down to earth and really look and evaluate yourself. You make decent music, C-tier rapper, I would say, maybe even B-tier. Your gimmicks, sure, you're a great marketer, you're a great independent artist, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that your YoungBoy diss is now one of the best diss tracks, or your YoungBoy diss track is now opening the eyes of the youth of why they shouldn't listen to this style of music. Like, people talking bad or saying why gangster rap music shouldn't be in the airways or shouldn't be, sold or all this kind of stuff has been a topic of discussion since the early to late 90s. Like, it's been, this is not anything new. So the fact that NLE Choppa thinks this is the time to kind of like address this stuff, you're just going about the wrong way, I think. Like, if you really want to change the way people look at the gangster lifestyle, is that you really need to open up to the people, be honest, and say, like, this is what's wrong with it. This is what happens if you go down this route. Most people don't get to live past a certain age, all this type of stuff. And then maybe you'll be able to convince a few. And then when you do more charities for the people in the hood, which I'm not saying he doesn't do, because I don't know, but I'm just saying this is the way to go about it rather than making a diss track towards NBA YoungBoy. At that point, it just looks like you're clout chasing because he's up right now. Like, he has a big song that's blowing up on, TikTok. He's doing a great tour. Like, why would anybody think, oh, you know what? Regardless of all that stuff that NBA YoungBoy is doing, I'm going to listen to NLE Choppa or NLE the Great, which is like an alter ego of his, which if this is all for an album, I'm all for it. Like, forget anything I said the rest of the video. If this NLE the Great coming out, like he came out Satan earlier, he comes out an NBA YoungBoy, he's just a whole album of diss tracks, it might be pretty fire. It's something new, something creative. I will give NLE that, is that he's creative at least. A lot of rappers are just kind of like picking off of old ideas and tactics that used to work, and they're just kind of like changing it up for today's day and age. So I will give him credit for being original and creative. I just don't think this was the way to go about it in this case. So you guys let me know, what do you guys think about the NLE Choppa diss track? Do you guys think it was good, fire? You guys let me know. And what do you guys think? Do you guys think it's the right message to be pushing, or do you think this is just old heads talking?